Wake Up with Jim and Saab is exclusively on Spotify.
If you want to start your own podcast, check out anchor.fm.
And if you want to be notified when we have new episodes, click the follow button on Spotify. If I slow down.
Welcome to Wake Up to Saab podcast.
Doing a lot of Malibags this month.
Nice.
I think, a lot of people need some sound advice, and I hope that's what we give.
Yeah.
Do you think we give sound advice?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Ano yung for today?
Well, for today's episode, we'll be reading a Malibag from a sender who shared her struggles as a middle child. You're a middle child.
Yep.
Do you feel like it's always harder when you're a middle child? While you think of your answer, I just want to explain that for the month of May, kasi we're releasing Malibag episodes every Friday in partnership with Spotify. #May hugot pa rin.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it harder?
No, I don't think so. I would like to say and we're gonna talk about this a lot because that's what Saab has been studying. Every child naman has their own trauma. So, like, may sariling issues yung middle child sa panganay, sa bunso. Diba? In a nutshell, yung panganay, there's a crazy amount of expectation and like parents are always stricter with them because that's the first baby.
Most of the time. Kasi there are times rin na because the parents were really young when they have their first kid and parang they don't know what to do, so parang medyo experiment na parang di ko alam yung rules
Marami silang mistakes
in the parenting. Oo.
Middle child is
but there's a thing called middle child syndrome. You've heard of that?
I've heard of all the stuff that they associate with middle child.
Like ano?
Like forever kebs.
You mean hindi masyadong nabibigyan ng pansin?
Both.
And ikaw
parang
rin?
because nga hindi pinapansin. Like you're like, okay. Like ako, ganun ako eh. Like growing up, I was like, okay. Just wag niyo lang ako pagalitan.
Yeah.
Parang good ako, basta wag niyo lang pagalitan.
Okay. Ano pa? Or pwedeng maging extreme na wanting attention. So, nag-act out. Ganun.
I guess. Kasi usually sa bunso nila binabato yun, di ba?
Yung ano?
Yung being very, they need attention.
Mga bunso, awayin nyo na si Jim. Sabi niya, KSP daw kayo. Pag ganun, bunso. Charot.
Kasi, mga bunso, di ba? Like, kaya parang yung middle child is parang okay lang. Parang ganun. Kasi yung panganay nga is the first, oh my God, it's a baby. Everything we do, we have to take care of that baby. The second child is usually like, oh, there's a baby.
Oh, yay.
And then biglang
we kind of know what to do.
Kind of know, and then biglang magkakabunso na you have an older child, 2 older children na, and then this is a baby again. So the baby is so precious again. So parang
medyo na-skip.
Nagkaka-rebirth yung parents as like, oh my God, a baby. And then you're a baby. You're my bunso. You're a baby bunso.
So parang yung super, newborn pag-aalaga, medyo na-skip na, lalo na kung close in age, na bunso agad.
Yeah.
Bagong child. And then parang, okay, I guess, medyo kind of glazing over.
Yeah.
Well, that's the common scenario.
Also, aside from that, what my mom taught me, because she learned about these things. My mom's a counselor. Me about this.
Counselor, anong city? Charot.
Sabi niya, ang bunso daw does not necessarily mean parang the youngest lang agad. Kasi it actually happens in threes. In threes. So let's say you're 6 kids, right? May panganay, middle child, and then the bunso, the third. So there's one bunso. And then there's another panganay, there's another middle child, and another bunso.
Okay. Paano kung 5?
Kunwari 5. O di may dalawa yung panganay at may isang middle. Dalawang panganay, dalawang middle child.
Dalawang bunso. Isang middle child.
Ganun ba? Hindi
Oo.
ba dapat?
Kasi kung 5
Hindi,
kayo,
hindi.
paano ka naging middle child kung bunso ka? Diba? Oh, anyway, well, I guess we'll ask your mom.
I'm not an expert. I don't
Hindi
know
kasi
why.
kami yung counselor. Well,
Kuya-kuy nga ako dito.
kaya nga
Paano ako naging expert?
Can you stop? Kuya-kuy niche. It's got to stop. All right, well, you know what? Let's just read the letter and
Yeah.
see, maybe we can be of service.
Gabi, ang ano,
Ang
sobrang ano mo
Ano?
tapang mo
What do you mean? What?
Yung iPad walang case. Okay, game.
Okay. Hi, Jim and Sab. I have a love-hate relationship with my mom. Don't get me wrong, I respect and have a huge appreciation for all mothers as I'm a mom myself. However, growing up, there was an unhealed child trauma inside of me. Being a middle child, I grew up being jealous of my other siblings and how my mother treated them and expressed their love for them. I'm that child who is always restricted, never got supported when I wanted to join in school's extracurricular activities, and never got to experience living alone during college. Both of my other siblings were supported in any way they needed. I grew up feeling the need to prove myself to my parents always. I always tried to excel academically to make them proud. Up until now, I can still feel the unbiased treatment towards me. I hate that aside from that, I never felt the support that I needed. Sure, she helps me in taking care of my child by looking after her while I'm working. But how can I be genuinely happy if she always shouts at her and is mad whenever my child makes mistakes? She always wants my daughter to be in one corner playing by herself, watching videos on the tablet, and doesn't want to be messy and be a child. Other people might comment that it should be my child, my rules, but I cannot be by her side 24/7 since my work requires multiple calls. I can't afford to lose my work to look after my daughter. I can still feel the unfair treatment and her favoritism towards my other siblings up to this day, as if she looks at me and feels na wala akong ambag sa kanya. She never expresses her love to me, and she doesn't get worried if I'm running out of money, which she never asks me anyway, which is contrary to my other siblings. I supply the other needs in the house when needed, which I don't get appreciated on. She never supported me on my sidelines. Kailangan ko gawin yun kasi paano ako magkaka-extra income bas para masustain ang never-ending bills. My job requires mid-shift, but I always extend to do my sideline. Pinapagalitan niya ako whenever it's midnight and still hindi pa natutulog. In my head, ano ba, hindi naman siya yung nagpupuyat and paano ko magagawa yung other deliverables ko and my sideline if I don't extend, and that's the only time I can do it. I don't know how I can improve my relationship with my mom because I tend to keep quiet, to be firm so that I don't get misunderstood whenever I speak up. I'm always trying to show my brave self on the outside, but my anxiety is killing me inside. I love you, bod parents, and I always admire you both for being parents to Pancho and Vito. Please keep me anonymous. Aw. But we will give her a nickname, okay? Alias Bobbie. Alam mo, yun yung role ni Bea Alonzo sa Three Sisters and a Wedding. Have you seen that?
No.
It's a great movie. Fantastic.
No?
Yeah. Siya yung you always see that meme, yung, bakit ako? Ba't parang kasalanan ko? That's Bea's like iconic line of Bea Alonzo. But I don't want to spoil it for anyone. Yeah. Anyway.
Hey podkids, as you know, we're very proud to be part of Isabel's. It's healthy salads, delicious food. It's at isabels.com.ph, and we're giving a cool promo code to all our podkids. It's 10% off on all Mother's Day items and platters, valid until May 14 when you use the code WeLovePodMom. So for Mother's Day, you can get an Isabel salad platter, a wrap platter. So they're beautifully packaged and big. So for your celebration or you're gonna go to a party, maganda siyang dalhin. Maganda siyang pang gift sa mom because there's also a Mother's Day gift bag. The gift bag is super good. Promise. Try nyo yung pesto cream cheese, yung hummus, and yung chips ng Isabel's. Yun yung super sarap. Anyway, that's it. So again, we love PodMom. Use the promo code at isabels.com.ph. Thanks, guys.
Want more fun stuff outside our podcast? Come join our Podtron community.
You'll get access to exclusive content such as live coaching sessions, hangouts via Zoom, live podcast recordings, exclusive discounts, spontaneous live streams, and more.
Focus with me on our co-working sessions at Discord and let's be productive together.
Looking for career advice or fun recipes? Or do you just want to join in on our jamming sessions with Pancho and Vito?
Took you a while.
Talagang literally nagja-jamming kami ni Pancho and Vito and we stream it live. Anyway, subscribe to jimandsaab.com for just $5 and you'll get access to all of these.
We also have a monthly life coaching session, like we said, via Zoom where I talk to podkids and give them advice. Yes, qualified life coach yarn.
And the best thing about this whole thing is 100% of our monthly proceeds go to our chosen beneficiaries in partnership with Cerebral Palsy Epilepsy Family Awareness and Support Group PH.
They are our heroes of the month, the children with special needs and their families. And this cause is especially close to our hearts because, well, you know why. So your subscription really means a lot to us.
We hope to see you on our next hangout. Nag-enjoy ka na, nakatulong ka pa.
Yay.
Love you, thank you.
Thank you. Initial thoughts?
Well, first, like, we always want to clarify when we get like these Malibags na we'll try our best to help and understand as a friend. But there are certain things that are like so deep na we're not equipped.
You're not qualified.
So everything, please take everything that we say with a grain of salt. Na we're like your friends. Diba?
We'll cheer you on, but
yeah. Kasi parang maraming stuff here that goes beyond like a middle child syndrome. Parang for me nga, the most middle child syndrome I see, or the only, or parang the most glaring one, is yung at the end of the Malibag when she said na yung ano yun? Yung
Alin?
na sinabi niya na the only her biggest fear is like being misjudged, parang misunderstood. Kaya
pag
parang,
nagsalita siya.
kaya hindi na lang siya magsasalita. Kasi ako ganun ako eh. Like, I grew up that way. Like, and usually kasi, if we're gonna talk about like stereotypes, it's usually the bunso who's the most vocal. Kasi they are empowered. They have a stronger connection with the parents. So therefore, they feel comfortable to say, hey, I don't like that. I'm angry at you. Middle child, like me, I was like, basta hindi ako mapagalitan. Like, wag na. Parang, I don't wanna stir the pot. Parang, magkakagulo lang rin naman. Hindi rin naman ako maintindihan. And I just don't wanna hurt people. So I completely understand her from that point of view. I think though na parang this is more of there's a fundamental problem which I think you could be better at parang breaking down yung parang may trauma and may talagang mukhang scarred yung relationship nila ng mom, diba? That goes beyond na her being a middle child.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, of course, we're all just basing this on this letter, right? Like, I'm trying to think of like how the situation is talaga. Like, do you think the mom is like, "Hi, panganay, hello, kamusta na?" Oh, and then biglang isa, oh, ganon. Like dito sa kay Bobbie, parang ganon ba ka extreme? Like yung kasi naisip ko rin dito yung hindi siya she doesn't get worried if I'm running out of money, which she never asks me. So, I'm a little, I'm wondering na, what is she, do you feel like it's her responsibility to ask you how you're doing with money? Or is that something that you want to bring up and you don't feel comfortable to?
You know what I think it is?
Ano?
Because I do understand like how siblings can see these small things like in a completely different perspective.
Lalo
like,
na pag-compare.
Pag-compare and like kunwari, let's say like the bunso will say like, oh my God, this si panganay. Can't believe ganun. Pero like ako, I'm the middle child. I observe na parang not really. Like I see na it's
Yeah.
kind of fair. Like I think you just see it through a different lens, which is okay. So that's quite possible. Parang na sa sobrang strained na ng relationship nyo brought upon by both parties. Your inability to communicate. Probably your mom also is not a good communicator.
Seems like it.
Diba? So, yeah.
Yeah. I think I don't want to deny your reality, which is actually an archetype of childhood trauma, which is to say, bakit naman ganito? I don't want to do that. But I'm not doing it naman as you're feeling it. So that's the difference. Okay? So you've felt it, you've experienced it. So now I hope you are ready to hear like other alternatives of the situation. And it might be that you're I mean, I maybe think about it. How did your mom's mom treat her or her dad? Because we've all got these like patterns that we get from our childhood upbringing, and I think it feels unfair. I get it. I'm from a family of 8, and ako personally, I don't think of it like that. But may mga ganun may dynamics na ganun sa family. Because I am kind of a middle child rin, diba? So I'm always just like, oh, wala ako dyan, right?
Yeah.
But there are mga ganun, mga, si ganyan, si mom hindi siya ganyan kaya ganyan. And then I'm just always like, what?
Yeah,
But then for them, that's real for them. That's what they're experiencing. And even if there's, yun nga eh, it's possible. It's very possible that even if a mother has several children, it's like a different mother for each of them. Possible yun. And that's not ideal, but yun nga, it's like when you know someone, a friend, and then that friend pala would bully someone. And then you're like, hindi naman, like, because never kang binully. Hindi siya ganun. It's like,
or pakul siya pag pero pag or kuya mode when within this group, bunso mode.
And it's like a friend would say, hindi siya ganun, imposible, hindi siya ganun.
Yeah.
But para sa taong yun, actually binully siya. And yun yung na-experience. Or baka nga hindi siya binully, pero may nasabi. And they felt that way. And that's the same for you. Na I want you to know that your experience is real. Okay? And even if for your siblings, who I'm sure if you talk to them about it, it might be like, yun nga, madadena yung experience mo. But the thing is, when we're experiencing something and we acknowledge it, which you're doing now as you wrote us this letter, you gotta think about like, where do we go from here? What's the next step? At least nalabas mo. You were able to actually specify instances where you felt like you were not getting the love that you needed. And it's a matter of, and I will say something that may feel very uncomfortable for you, but you have to speak up. And it doesn't mean having to confront her and having a fight. I think the next step would be to prepare yourself. Prepare yourself and equip yourself. Because when you finally find that time, and you've got to carve out some time for this, there will be probably a very negative reaction. Because people don't like that. People don't like that. They, especially for a mother who in her head is trying her best. They feel like it's an attack. Na, grabe ka, pinaghirapan kita ng ganyan. I carried you for 9 months, all of that. And, they're bagakra ng self-pity. Expect that. Expect the worst. But communicate from a place of love. and just say, hey mom, mama, whatever you call your mom, mommy, you know what, I'm not even gonna give you a script. Or maybe I will. You think that would help?
I think so. Framework.
Sige.
Framework.
How about if you say parang, alam ko na parang thank you na, you know, you give me the space I need para makapagtrabaho ako, na dalagaan mo si baby. And pag ano ka, mag-preamble ka as much as you want. And you know what would help? If there's physical touch. Like on her arm, on her knee, even on her hand, I don't know. Just touch para lang there's like, you know, kind of, that automatically calms someone down eh. And ayun, just speak from the heart. Say na, this is how I'm feeling. Make sure to talk about how you're feeling. And don't make it sound like, ganito ka kasi, ito, ganito, ganyan ka. Yan ka kasi, yan ka. No, talk about you. And you can always say na, I'm sure hindi mo intention yun. Hindi ko alam kung bakit ganito yung nararamdaman ko. And then you can say like, well, this is what I would like. And do you think you could do that? Or something like that. Or baka there's a compromise. Kasi I don't want to be afraid to talk to you. And ayun, I think if you're coming from a place of love, then you expect, because, you know, certain generations, they don't respond well to this because they've never heard of it before. You know, communication. What? Talking to my child?
Yeah.
And you've got to save for it getting like obviously like very wrong, like, you know, getting physical and whatever. You've got to allow them to feel their feelings, and if they express that, if they shout, if they go all like ballistic, then wag ka makisabay. That's my advice. And you know what? It will say a lot about your mom's own traumas. The way they react and the way they process feelings, the way they're able to regulate their emotions. And
ako gusto ko lang i-remind lahat ng nakikinig na podcast kasi parang we're gonna talk a lot about trauma, but the one thing that Saab nga has, you know, wants to emphasize is that just because there were traumas brought upon by our childhood, you know, doesn't necessarily mean na parang, ano yung sinasabi mo yung caveat na parang,
our parents aren't evil.
Yeah, our parents aren't evil. Or unless your experience is like a very abusive parent na but if let's say it's like, yun nga yung different traumas that Sav has been saying, like, parang kasi yun nga, we know some people, you know, who
don't want to hear it.
Yeah, who don't want to hear na ano. So anyway, I my last thing would be, as someone who was always averse to confrontation with parents, I will tell you that yung inconvenience of doing a tough talk and like maybe fighting and not being okay for a few months is an investment. Bang. So you go into it with knowing na, okay, delayed gratification to. This is gonna suck for a few months. Gonna be weird. But it's for the longevity of this relationship.
Yeah.
Then lastly, I would say na if you go in parang go in ready to express lang how you feel, how it made you feel, and you're not then you won't feel bad about doing what you did.
No regrets.
No regrets.
Lalo na kung coming from love, and like just keep reassuring na you love and respect them.
And with the intention na you want to fix the relationship.
Yes.
Parang,
Yun.
Kung ganun ang intent mo, then parang ang hirap naman na pagsisihan yung gagawin na.
Kaya sinasabi ko, mag-prepare ka kasi in the heat of the moment, baka may masabi ka and and that's what you would regret. So just, it's gonna be tough, But I really hope you're able to fix this because you're, I think that's also gonna really help your daughter's childhood rin. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I hope we helped.
Good luck.
Bye.
Bye. We back.
On Meta,
We back.
join the new official group for Afterpod Kwentuhans at bit.ly/podkids afterparty.
Also, we always love hearing what you guys think. So share your stories and tag us on Instagram at Wake Up with Jim and Sab, at Jim Bacaro, and at Sab Mangalona.